Hello, everyone. My name is Juliana, and I'm DevRel at NodeOps, and welcome to today's live stream. Today's live stream is very exciting. Before we get into it, I'm actually streaming. It is about 11 a.m., so write in the comments where you're watching this from, and I'll be able to see them live. So today's live stream is going to be deploying with an MCP from directly inside of Cursor requisites. So by the end of this stream, if we have enough time, we should have a couple of deployments. So here's what we're going to go over today. I'm assuming that you already are familiar with Cursor and familiar with AutoGen, and you may be familiar with Dockerizing an app. You don't? I have made content before, so feel free to check out our YouTube and check out my other live streams. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to top, and we're going to go over what we're going to do today, and then also dive into the nitty-gritty. So this is going to be not super technical. I think you can follow along. All right, so here we go. By the way, I'm holding a NodeOps swag that we handed out in Argentina. This is I've been calling it a hardware wallet, but a card wallet. It was very popular, and it's made out of metal. So I placed my mic back here. Okay, so back to my screen. Okay, let's get started. So I find this helps me about what we're aiming to do. One second, let me move this mic. Kind of wish performance mics that just like attach to your face. All right, here we go. So I'm assuming you already have Cursor, you have an AutoGen account, and you know how to Dockerize apps. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to create an API key. Then we're going to go into Cursor, and we're going to connect it to the API. And then we're going to deploy a Docker image. So got the bare minimum, but if we have, there's a bonus. We're going to live vibe code an app. If we don't have time, I have this already set up, and we're actually going to vibe code an app. We're going to Dockerize it together. If not, I already have it Dockerized. And then we're going to deploy it. So I'm all within. So very straightforward. Yeah. If there's any questions, feel free to share in the chat. Hi, Simo, Gnode. And if you guys have ever used MCPs before, write in the comments. Let me know what you're building. All right, so let me bring in, let's start generating API keys, shall we? Keep this to the left so we know what we're doing. All right, so in order to get started with the MCP, you would come over here to AutoGen. So autogen.nodeops.network, and you would sign in. Assuming you already have an account, you'll come over to the bottom left and click on your little profile. This is so tiny. Let's make that a lot bigger. All right, come over to the bottom where you can click on your account and then click on profile. Then from here, you're going to come down to API keys and click create. So you're going to give it a name. Let's call it our MCP. So we're going to call it description for easy deployment. And I'll set the expiration date to, I don't know, 3 months. Okay, and then we're going to click create. Oh, go, let's try that. All right, doesn't like spaces in the name. So make sure you delete that space in the API key. All right, so we're going to copy this API key, and now comes the fun part. We are going to take it into Cursor. All right, and here is my cursor. That was fast, so we completed the first step. And let me make my cursor. If I'm going too fast, feel free to say something in the chat. Happy to slow down or answer some questions. All right. Okay, so from inside of Cursor, we are now going to install the MCP. We need to open the settings page. Now, the only way I know how to open the settings page is through the command board. It is actually a Command Shift P. It's the only way I know how to open this screen. If there's another way up here, in the bar, let me know. But once you have this open, you're going to click on Open MCP Settings because this shows up at the top because I've recently used it. If you don't see it, you can actually type in just MCP and it will show up. So we click on Open MCP Settings and it will open up Cursor settings. I have the Pro plan on Cursor, but I believe you should be able to do this even with the basic plan. Okay, now scroll down to Installed MCP Servers. And then you're going to click on Add a server right here. That's big enough. Okay, add an MCP server. And so what that's going to do is, what did it do? All right, add a custom server. Okay, what that does, it opens an mcp.json file, which is what your cursor is reading. And you're going to paste this JSON into it. I will also share it on this screen. Whoops. Okay, well, I'll share it in the chat. There you go. All right, so that's the JSON that we're going to use. And coming up here, let me try and make this more visible. Let's take a look at the JSON. The first thing we need is on line 2. It's called an MCP server. All we need to do is update the API key down here to connect it to your account. The URL is going to be this. Type HTTP, and that's it. If you have servers, you would just add to this with another name. I've named mine MCP. It's not very descriptive. You can call it, our MCP if you wish. So, but regardless of whatever you call it, it just has to be unique. So let's bring in our API key. Go back here, copy the API. Okay. And then paste. All right, and then hit save. Okay, Gnode. Welcome, Stoner. Welcome, BB, Mustafa, Hikari, Sino. MCP that JSON. This all looks. If this all looks good to you, settings, and scroll down to the bottom where you see MCP, right? Call it our MCP. Okay. All right, hits, and that should update here. A new MCP. If it was properly connected, it will be green. If it's not working, it will be yellow. All right, cool. Now you can actually dig in a little bit deeper and double click into it, and 70 tools enabled. The 73 tools enabled, these are the functions that the MCP is able to. If you feel like it, you can go through and read it. More or less, it's going to work as if you're speaking to AI. So you can use natural language and ask for it to deploy your project, and it will. So that's the next step. Let's go ahead and deploy our project. All right, now I'm going to bring up, where we're on. Okay, we've just completed step 1 and 2. Make that a little bit smaller. Hi, Aid Ben. Hello, Web3 Alpha. All right, we've completed step 2. Now let's go on to step 3, where we're going to deploy a Docker image. So to do that, I want to start speaking to AI. I'm going to open up from the top right. Sorry, it's a little bit covered. No, toggle open the panel, the AI panel, and I'm going to open up a new. Okay. Now, from the new chat, we're going to do a small exercise to deploy. So from here, you can actually deploy your project directly from here. If you're working on something, you can just ask it to deploy. But for today, I'm going to start with a Docker image, something very simple. So let's start using the MCP. So to know if it's connected, I would start with, hey, list my projects. Okay. Well, if you saw that, it kind of scrolled by, it reasoned what it thought I was asking for, and then it's asking, can I run this command or my method, one of the 72 methods, list projects. And you can go ahead and click run to let it continue. Let me make this a little bit bigger. It's as big as it gets. All right, so it returned 2 projects. I've got a Kali project and a retro Minesweeper project. Awesome. So now we know our MCP is working. Let's start deploying. Hello, Crypto Priest. Hello, Erlang. Welcome. All right, so let's start deploying. Let's just say, hey, deploy. I'm going to enter a Docker image. Corp HTTP echo on port 5678. That's it. Hi, Juno, sir. Now it's doing its thing. Occasionally, you're just going to have to give it permission to run something. All right, it's going to run its thing. I'm going to keep going. Hello, Christabel. Okay. Let me just expand this. So if I can just show you a little bit more of what it's doing. Okay, so that's it. Finished our first deployment. It deployed with the project name HTTP echo from the image on this port. It redeployed. I can actually right now. So let me show you what that endpoint looks like. Let me pull up my browser here, make a new tab, and then paste. Awesome. That's it. It worked. That was super easy. From there, we can do a couple of things. Now that we have it is deployed, sitting somewhere with a URL, there's a couple of things you can do. Create environment, something usually we're working in production or dev environments. Let's go ahead. Hello, Fonzie. Hi. Welcome. You know. Hi, Ben Bean. Welcome, everybody. If anybody has any questions in the chat, let me know with MCPs, where you're logging in from, and what you're building lately. So happy to meet you. All right. Now deployed, what can we do? Hi, Mr. Block. Yes, it is pretty amazing. I agree. Okay, so let's try this. Let's ask, could you create a production environment if it does not exist? All right. It went to check my projects, actually. So there's a sequence of events here. It went to check my projects, checks if there's an environment, figures out that it doesn't exist, and then goes ahead and says, can I create it for you? Hello, Will. Hi, Tintin. Hello, Ohielo. Can this deployment work with phones? You mean, can you see it? Are you using cursor on your? Very interested if you're able to do that. Hello, Wizzy from Nigeria. Hi, Drewski. Hello, Abdul. All right, the whole time we've been talking, hello, love. Good to be here. I'm glad you're here too, and I'm glad you're here to learn. All right, so we're working today in Cursor, directly in Cursor, and we've just created a production environment. All right, and it just went ahead and named the environment production and gave it these resources with this much CPU and RAM and one replica. Now we can do a couple of things here. Now we have one replica. Let's double it. Let's double. Please double replicas to 2. Okay. And so what you're doing is you're now playing deployment tools and chatting with it without, all right, this much memory, this many replicas. You do the complexity of what it used to be before. All right, so okay. Please promote my deployment to production. It will redeploy the project that we did so now it's sitting on those 2 replicas with the allocation it has. Hi, Joshua, you're not too late. Hi, Blessing. So it's doing its thing. It's going to list, it's going to promote, and then it returns, it's done. It gets URL. See, if you notice, this URL looks different from the one we looked at earlier. So let's copy it. And there's 2 reps here. And go back into Cursor. And then paste. All right. This is the same application as before, except the URL is different. It's sitting on a differently. You look in the other one, the URL was this, unique. Now we have a much nicer URL. Hey, Demi. Hi, Will. Hi, Jay. Hi, Joshua. All right. So far, are we following along? Is it interesting? I think it could get a little bit more interesting if we have another 11:20. I think we can move on to vibe coding. First, let's close this off. Let's reduce replicas to 1. And then we're going to go ahead and actually delete this project. All right, so replicas have been reduced to 1. One more thing to add, environment logs. So you can say, give me environment logs. Cool. So these are the logs in the last 5 minutes. Hello, you. Awesome. Now let's delete this project. So you can say, just delete my projects. All right, so the project's been deleted. Let's confirm if it has been. Let's do a quick refresh on this URL. Oh, deleting does take a little bit, I remember. So let's come back to it in a few minutes. Okay, so at this point, let's go back to the agenda. We have completed steps 1, 2, and 3. If you guys are interested, we can move on this. The bonus is going to be us vibe coding an application together, and we're going to Dockerize it and deploy it with our MCP. All right, let's go into it. Let's go into bonus. Start by telling you about my idea. Over the week, I'll start with this, my context. I'm a 90s child, 90s, and I grew up watching MTV. There was this one song by Kelly Rowland, I don't know if you know Kelly Rowland, where she, let me speak over here. All right. So Kelly Rowland had this very popular music video where she's singing and she's sitting in a window and she is texting somebody on her side phone that we had before smartphones. And she was singing about how he wasn't responding. So, and then it became a meme because when they zoomed in to what she was typing into her sidekick, she was actually typing into an Excel sheet. And so that's why he wasn't responding to you, because you're texting him through an Excel sheet. I thought this was hilarious, a project about it. So this is my project. Let me show you. So this is the GitHub I created a few days ago, and we come down to, oh gosh, I wish I had the Kelly Rowland picture. Let me pull it up 1 second. I feel like the context matters because application from it. Hey, Brian. Yeah, this is the NodeOps Metallic wallet. Do you have one? All right, so I'm pulling in the meme. If you can see this, these are screenshots from the music video I'm talking about, where she's sitting and there is an up-close shot of her texting, "Where you at?" from inside an Excel sheet. So I built a project on this, and I went to Cursor, and I started prompting it. I started prompting it to create the scene, recreate the scene where you can text someone through Excel. So I answered this prompt, if you want. It says, if your video quality is low, click on first icon that looks like settings, click it and change quality to 720. Thank you, DWTC. Yeah, I think quality matters. I'm happy to full screen this if you need higher quality. Okay, so this was my idea, and I built this project and I Dockerized it and I deployed. Do this live together. I can also skip a couple of steps if we run out of time, but I think we do. It's 11:25 right now, so let's get started. All right, so let's go into Cursor. Now here's where we start vibe coding. Let me open this up a little bit more, make a new chat. It's a little bit difficult because I can't really see the full screen, but let me try. Actually, let's start brand new. Let's start with a whole GitHub. Okay. So I'm going to create a new GitHub, a new repo. We're going to call it a live stream Kelly Excel text. Okay. Hi, div. All right, so I've got this new project. I'm going to git clone it into my terminal. Let's come over here. So I'm in my terminal. Hi, Brian. We'll have the merge. Let's see, we'll have the wallets as part of Merch for Africa's Universities. That's awesome. These wallets are very popular. I'm excited for you. All right, so back into my terminal, I'm going to git clone the new repo that I just created, and then I'm going to cd into it. All right, so now that I'm sitting in here, Cursor should know to focus on. So I'm going to come back to the AI, and now we're going to start prompting for our projects. When we are prompting for projects, I like to speak to it as thoroughly as I could. I don't like to keep things brief. So this is what I'm going to say. I am in an empty GitHub repo called livestream Kelly X text. New projects. Right, I'm not reading it out loud. Hi, NSA. Hi, Blondie. Welcome. That is my prompt. So if you can't read it, I'm happy to share it into the chat. Here we go. Prompt. So you can build along if you want. So here's what I typed. I said I'm in an empty repo called Livestream Kelly Excel text. I'm very specific about where it is. So it knows that this is the project I want to build it in. I said it's a meme project where Kelly Rowland is texting someone through Excel. It will open a WebSocket. I spelled WebSocket wrong. With whoever is reading on the other side. Perhaps it could be a one-to-one tunnel or one-to-many. It could appear like a message board, or people can enter a channel. I also spelled channel wrong. With another, and it will create a private and encrypted message channel. That looks good to me. I'm going to shoot it off. And the next thing it should ask me is about tech preferences. So now it's analyzing how to build this idea out. Hey, Barry. I'm glad you're excited about this session. Hello, Vicky. Oh, this is annoying. So Cursor actually sees that I already have a project running. Let me. Hi, Damilare. Happy to be here. Hi, sir. Hi, Erdy. How you guys doing? Hi, boss lady. Hi, honey. Hi, Blondie. Thank you. I hope you guys are enjoying this session. So what you guys are just coming in, we are working with deploying with, we've gone through setting up an API key, connecting the MCP into Cursor, we've deployed manage, and now we are vibe coding our project together. Once vibe coded, we can Dockerize and then deploy it. It is 11:32. This might be more exciting if I show you the project. Ibiza of Web3 and Salsa. Hello. Oh, hi, Ace. 90s auntie. Welcome. I'm so happy to see someone about my age here. Hello, Marve. Thank you. It seems my computer is lagging a little bit because of this. I think I might switch gears and just go straight to demonstration. Dan, I'm going to go into demonstrating the project. All right. Hey, what's up, fam? Hello, bench. Okay. So after vibe coding, this is what it came up with. Got a little bit impatient, so I'm just gonna switch, and I'm gonna go straight to the finished project. So this is the Excel text messenger. As soon as you open the link, this is what you see. Let me make that bigger. You have two options. You can create a room or you can join a room. And once you create a room, you can give it a name. So my name is Juliana, and I can give my room a passphrase. So this is what between you and whoever is on this link. I can share this link with you right now, and you guys are welcome to enter my app. So here we go. There in the comments is the link to my deployment. So I'm going to create a room. You guys feel free to join it. And I'm going to set the password to, let me set password. Let's set the password to node ops. Okay, all lowercase. So let me set that here. Whoops. Passphrase. Node ops. All right, and then I'm going to create a room. And voila, I have a room created. I've joined the chat. I can start typing into Excel. I can say, hello there, hello world, hello friends. Welcome to my life. All right. And so anybody can enter this room with the link that I shared, and you can type in your name and your the passphrase that I gave you, which was node ops lowercase. Hello, Marv. And you can enter this, will be encrypted with this password. If you were to our channel without the right password, appear encrypted. So we wouldn't be able to see, you can see messages being sent, but you won't be able to read it. Demonstrate that. Let me go into the same link as before, right? And let's create a new user. By the way, none of this data is persistent. It's entirely a WebSocket, so it's very, it's short-term. Nothing's being saved, and high security that way. Hello, hi Marve. All right, so I can actually join the room that I just created and then type in a new name. So let's use the name, I don't know, Marve Star X. Give it the room key. So go back to the room. Here's the unique room key. Copy it. Come back here. Paste the room ID. Enter the passphrase we created, which was node ops all lowercase. And then click join room. All right. So now Marve Star X has entered the room, and I can say, well, let's say, let me just type what you said. You said movement invited. Yeah. So you just type that. Let me go back to my first chat and see if I received it. See, oh, Marve joined. He said, or she said, movement invited me over. Awesome. So this tunnel is working. You can also go into, let's go back and do it again. Let's try it with, yeah, you can create integrated apps. Yes. You can also try joining the room with the wrong password. And you can also create as many rooms as you need. These are entirely WebSocket based. So there is, as long as the server can handle this many WebSocket connections, you can as many rooms as you can just push it to the limit. So let's try and join the same room as before. Oops. Let's join the same room. But this time, I'm not going to know the password. Actually, let's give it another name. I don't the password. And then I'm going to give it the wrong password. Just going to type a random things in. I'm going to try and join this room. All right. I'm going to type in something. Hi, guys. So I've typed that into the chat. Let's go back and see what the other people are seeing. So someone named I joined, but they're able to be decrypted, not using the same passphrase. So that good level of security. Also, one thing you notice is that people who join of the chat. So this also keeps things kind of private, very temporary. Going back to Marve Star's room, same thing's happening. You see somebody joined, but you can't read what they're saying, and they can't read what you're saying either, right? So I can say like, hey, new guy. Let's go back to the guy who doesn't know the password, and yeah, completely blocked. So this app is completely vibe coded. I think it took me like 15 minutes and I deployed it. Now, I'm assuming you know how to Dockerize an app. This was made with vanilla JavaScript. It's not using any framework. It's not a React app. It's just Express. Is it. And then after I Dockerized it, let me show you what that looks like. Here we are. Okay. Hi dip. So after I've Dockerized it, I pushed it up publicly. If you don't know how to do this, you can absolutely go back to my previous YouTube videos. I have a lot of content on it. So after I've Dockerized it, I named it Kelly Rowland Excel Text, which is now a public Docker image. If we click into it, it is built on the platform Linux. This is very important. It's not enough just to Dockerize your application. You actually need to build it on the Linux AMD 64 platform, because if you don't, it will not work on NodeOps, unfortunately. But yeah, it's a very popular error. So just warning, make sure it's Linux AMD 64. All right, so we have about 20 minutes left of the live stream. Let's go ahead and deploy this Docker image through the MCP. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and copy this. Brian saying share, share, share. Don't know what you want me to share. You guys can absolutely, the link is live, so you can go ahead and just chat with each other and create encrypted messaging channels with each other. But yeah, I've copied my, and now let's go into cursor. My machine, I have a lot going on. Okay. I'm gonna go hit new chat, and we're gonna do what we did before. We're gonna ask, oh, can you list my projects? Let's see what we have. By now, our previous project should have been deleted. Okay. I have projects. Oh, Excel. This one got updated because of previously. Hi, honey. That's really sweet of you. I'm really here. All right. So I'm going to delete. Let's delete that project. Delete the project. Kelly Excel V. Now you don't have to delete it. I believe this MCP will allow you about 5 projects max. I wanted to keep it clean so you can see there's only one Kelly project. Okay, so let's try and list out my projects again. All right, so Kelly V2 is currently being deleted. So now we should have only one project, which is my retro Minesweeper 90s project. You know, I've just been on this 90s kick. Let's deploy it. So here I'm gonna say, hey, can you deploy? And I'm gonna paste my Docker image, Juliana Peace / Kelly Rowland Excel text on port 3000. Enter. Now we sit back and wait. Also, now that we're looking at the screen, you can continue to hit run, you know, and humanly click it, or you can list for MCP tools. I didn't want to hit this because I wanted to show you guys that this does pop up. But you want to allow it for in the future. If you're constantly using this MCP, it may get annoying. You don't want to constantly hit run. Just put it on the. Hi, Mr. saying, do I have difficulties deploying with mobile? Not sure I understand that. All right, it's done. Our project has been deployed. The Rowland project with this name, and it returned a URL. Oh no, wait, there's no URL. So once it's complete, it will give me a URL. So let me ping it. You can also ask for the production URL. And you can also ask for progress if the deployment is still going on. Okay, we have about 13 minutes left in the stream. If anybody has any questions, feel free to write it in the chat. This part's very simple. Deploy a Docker image, and we just click run. The MCP is going to go in our project. And then by the end of it, it will return a production URL. Awesome. There it is. That's our URL. So I'm going to copy it. Let's see. Copy. Ooh, this is a very good question. I'm actually going to put it on the screen. Blondie asked, can I edit a project after deploying it? Yes, you can. As you queue that I just deleted was edited. The thing with when you're talking with AI, it sometimes will do things and go a step beyond. So yeah, you can absolutely redeploy. You can make edits. Yeah. So we have a new deployment. I'm going to copy this in my browser. Where is my browser? Second. Oh, this is another good question. Ace Cannon asked, I'm gonna blast this too. Ace Cannon asked, how far can the MCP be stretched? What is possible with Node MCP? That's a very good question. So earlier today, I went and showed you all the methods that the MCP. So if you want to dig in, there are 72 of them, and all of them can be called from the LLM. So I'm going to throw this into the allow list. And we're going to come over here. Let me show it to you again. Right here. Sorry, it's so tiny. Okay. So I played with my screen. I'm going to show you right here. If you guys missed out in the earlier parts of the session, we installed the MCP to cursor through by editing the mcp.json. And once in, you can once it makes a successful connection with the API key, you can see that there's 73 tools available. And if you expand upon it, you can read and functions that the MCP is able to call. So you can see that you can list services, you can list projects, you can list GitHub repositories, you can list deployments. You can also there's list, get, trigger, upload, updates. So you can also wake up deployment. So these are all functions that the MCP can call. And I think this is the best way to try it out, do and trigger any of these methods. If you say something generic, like, deploy a project or something, it would just list a couple of these, whatever it needs to call to achieve what it thinks you want. All right. So we have about 8 minutes left. I want to get to the point where we can see the production URL. Oh, okay, there it is. All right, so we have the correct URL now because it just hallucinated for a little bit and gave me the wrong URL before. So let's copy that. This is what it should look like. Let's go back to the browser and test it out. Hit paste. All right, and voila, that is our application. Let me bring my face back. So this comes down to the end of our live stream. We've gone through a lot of things today. We've gone through making the API key, connecting the MCP to your cursor. We've gone through a little bit of vibe coding. Sorry, I got a little bit impatient. And we kind of, if you have not Dockerized, feel free to look at my other content, or you can actually go directly to AI and say, can you Dockerize my app and build it for the platform Linux AMD 64? It's very important you include that last bit. And we were able to deploy it on port 5678, and we have a production link. From here, you can also monitor environment logs, increase replica sets, basically treat it as if it was a production deployment, and use the MCP that way. So I hope this showed you how seamless it can be. I hope you build a lot of cool. Please let me know in the chat where you're coming in from and if you've ever used MCPs before. So I'm really happy to show you this today, and I hope you enjoyed my demo. Oh, yes, let me share the URL. Thank you, Dami. Okay, I'm gonna give you guys a second to enter any questions or comments last minute, and then we're going to log off. All right, thanks, Dami. I shared the URL. Blondie is asking, how long does it take for the Node GPT to create the production link after prompting it? Not that long. Pretty much as soon as it has been deployed, it will have a production URL. We did this all live. It was under 5 minutes, probably closer to 2 or 3 to get a production URL. So it's that quick. You can have an application, you can vibe code it. I think it took me 15 minutes to vibe code my application, and then another second to Dockerize it, and then I just said deploy it. Okay. Hi, Noah. Noah from Nigeria. Welcome. Marve is asking, is there a YouTube video? Officially not, but this live stream will be on our YouTube. So go ahead and follow us on YouTube. Here, let me type it in. YouTube. Oops. All right, so this is our YouTube channel. And as you can see, live to it right now. So everything here is recorded. In my previous recordings, my previous streams, by going to then and clicking on this session here from prompt to run and cursor. So not really a YouTube video, but and skip past all of my yapping and go straight to the good stuff. Thank you, Viber. I'm really happy with stuff. Surjet said, can we run double products at the same time? Absolutely. So MCP allows you to run 5 projects at the same time. Each project can have multiple environments. So take advantage of that as you will. If I wanted like a production environment and a development environment for my project, I can absolutely create separate URLs for it with separate builds. Great question. Thank you. All right. Thank you, Marve. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. I appreciate everybody who's still here. So happy everyone has a great day. And it was so lovely to meet you. Again, my name is Juliana, and I'm DevRaw at NodeOps.